Once again, our airplane crosses thousands of miles in just hours. From Yap to Guam, and then on to Truk. Through skies much safer than those of 50 years ago. Today, the remains of a terrible war lie scattered across the bottom of Truk Lagoon. But this graveyard, now a beautiful underwater garden, causes adventurers to journey thousands of miles to experience the most exciting wreck diving on Earth. Our floating home for the next week is a strong, beautiful ship called the SS Thorfinn. But wasn't that the name of Captain Olaf's ship? The ship he was sailing when he disappeared? And what about Captain Lance? There's a story that he too is a grandson of Captain Olaf's. And those puzzle pieces that we got in Yap, what do they mean? But there's no time to think of that now. It's time to dive. Over 60 large warships were lost in the clear blue waters of Truk Lagoon. One wreck that is well known to divers is the cargo vessel Yamagiri Maru. The Yamagiri is huge. Even though it lies on its side, the ship almost reaches the surface of the lagoon. You can't imagine what the outside of the Yamagiri used to look like because it is covered with coral. To see the most exciting part of the wreck, you have to dive deep inside its cargo holds. Scattered about the number 5 hold, at a depth of over 100 feet, lies a deadly cargo, the largest artillery shells ever made. These shells, each weighing over 3,000 pounds, could travel more than 50 miles. After swimming so close to these big shells, it feels good to swim out of the wreck. Not far from the Yamagiri lies the ghost of another huge warship. The wreck of the Hokimaru lies in 140 feet of seawater. The Hokimaru was also a cargo vessel. The ship is filled with interesting sights, but we have to dive deep inside its holds to see them. Once inside, we find the remains of an old tractor, once used to clear land. Close to the tractor lie dozens of deadly 100-pound bombs. We must be careful not to get too close. On the other side of the lagoon, we dive a large warship called the Nippo. Today, the Nippo rests in over 150 feet of water. The Nippo's main job was to carry large amounts of fresh water to bases in the Pacific where water was scarce. But the ship carried many other kinds of cargo as well. On deck, we find a small, 2-person tank. It's still easy to recognize, but we don't realize how small it is until we swim closer. Because it rests so deep, the Nippo is not covered with coral. But it is still one of our most exciting dives in Truk Lagoon. For many of us, the best dive in Truk Lagoon is the wreck of the Fujikawa Maru. The Fujikawa is so thickly covered with underwater life that it's like a living forest. Everywhere we turn, we see strange creatures. This small sea slug looks different from any underwater animal we've ever seen. Beautiful anemones cover the side of the ship. But deep inside the wreck, there are hidden treasures. The Fujikawa carried airplanes and spare parts. Scattered in the holds, we find propellers and giant gas containers, even an airplane engine. And in the forward hold, we discover a Zero fighter plane in excellent condition. But all work and no play is not good. So let's enjoy life. Get plenty of rest. And eat lots of pizza. We need the strength. We've found all the pieces of our puzzle. And at last, we are ready to dive for Captain Olaf's treasure. The beautiful passenger ship Rio de Janeiro is one of the largest shipwrecks in Truk Lagoon. We follow the ship back toward its huge propellers. And there, we find the famous treasure.
Towel. Okay, you got the treasure on your Whoa! Pieces of it.
It's a box filled with small gold bars, enough for everyone to share. But there are many different kinds of treasure, and gold is not the only treasure we have found in Truk.
No?
I was glad to see manta rays. I didn't know much about the wrecks in Truk before coming here. I hadn't read the historical background given to me very well. Here I read it and felt the tragedy of war. I felt a little hesitant to dive after knowing it, but I enjoyed diving very much. Many ships were sunk. The sight of bombs, gas masks, and other things in the ships made me think of those who sank with them. I felt the misery of war.
戦争で多くの船が沈んでたくさんの人も死んだということだけども、それによって
I learned that many ships sank and many people died during the war. As a result of that, a different environment was created there. Now coral, which serves as a shelter for fish, is on the ships. I think it's good.
やっぱり海の中は普段
It was really an adventure to be in the sea, which is very different from the world we live in. I saw underwater scenes I hadn't seen before. I saw various kinds of fish and explored the wrecks.
あれだけの戦績というか、沈んだ船。
The sight of the sunken ships and bones made me feel that war shouldn't happen again. Before diving, I was afraid of seeing those things. Now I'm okay. Maybe I have become a little stronger.
What I hope to share with people through these adventure trips is a sense of accomplishment and a sense of personal satisfaction that is so deeply ingrained into their minds that they will never forget it, and that they will be able to use this to offset any difficult points in their life. So when people come on an adventure trip, they challenge something new and exotic, and they succeed. They feel good about themselves. They go back home with confidence. They see the world from a new perspective.
For our international group of adventurers, being part of a team, reaching our goal together, and making lifelong friends are the real treasures of Truk. Treasures that we will remember for the rest of our lives.